A man woke one winter morning. He walked into his quiet study. The air was still and cold around him. On his polished wooden desk, he found a note that was not there the night before. The note held a simple, chilling message. But it was not the words that would haunt investigators for decades. It was a single, partial smudge near the bottom edge of the paper. The smudge was small and indistinct. A faint swirl of oil. Sweat left behind by an unknown hand. It looked like a fingerprint, but the technology of the time could not read its incomplete ridges and valleys. This was a cold case in the making, a puzzle with a missing piece too small to see clearly. That one small mark represented a profound mystery. Physical proof someone had been there. A silent witness that could not speak. Detectives examined it with magnifying glasses. They photographed it, then they filed it away. The trail went cold. Years became decades. The file gathered dust on a shelf among countless others. The family was left with questions and no answers. The smudge stayed a symbol of the unknown, a tiny fragment waiting for the right person and the right tools. This story of forensic science begins with that smudge, a journey from simple observation to immense scientific power. Long before modern crime labs with their gleaming instruments and white-coated technicians, the pursuit of justice relied on far simpler tools. The earliest forms of investigation were built upon the foundations of human observation, keen intuition, and the careful collection of stories. In ancient civilizations and through the medieval period, solving a crime was often a matter of tracking footprints in the mud, or noticing a misplaced object at the scene of a misdeed. Investigators, often local constables or sheriffs, had to be masters of noticing what was out of place. They watched people's reactions, asked probing questions, and followed trails of witnesses and rumors through their communities. In many small towns and growing cities, a single lawman was responsible for the entire process. He would arrive at a scene and use his own senses to piece together the narrative of what had occurred. He wrote down names, documented accounts in handwritten ledgers, and relied on his memory of past events and local characters. There were no laboratories to send evidence to for analysis. There were no scientific tests to confirm or deny a suspicion. As a result, many crimes remained unsolved, their truths lost to time. The first truly transformative change in forensic science arrived with the study of fingerprints. For centuries, people had noticed the intricate ridges on fingertips, but their uniqueness was not scientifically understood. It was during the 1800s when Sir William Herschel and Dr. Henry Faulds helped reveal two monumental facts. Every person's fingerprints are unique and remain unchanged across a lifetime. A reliable form of personal identification, a natural signature that could not be forged or forgotten. Law enforcement adoption was gradual but powerful. By the early 1900s, momentum grew. Classification systems by Juan Vucetich and Sir Edward Henry enabled sorting and searching. Prints could be filed and found. An officer could lift a latent print and compare it to a growing library. A clear match became irrefutable proof of presence. In 1910, the Thomas Jennings murder trial featured 4 clear fingerprints on a railing. An expert showed matching points. The jury was convinced, and the evidence became legally trusted. Old cases could be reopened with improved techniques for paper and cloth. The silent ridges were given a voice, telling stories buried in silence for years. As fingerprinting identified culprits, toxicology emerged to uncover hidden crimes. For centuries, poison mimicked disease, letting killers escape suspicion. Chemists developed ways to detect poisons in the body. Chemistry entered the courtroom. Tests of blood, tissue, and stomach contents could reveal arsenic, strychnine, and more. Mathieu Orfila, the father of toxicology, created rigorous methods in the 1840s and testified in the Lafarge case, proving arsenic in the victim. He tied the poison to access and means. His groundbreaking testimony led to conviction. Deaths once attributed to illness could be revisited. With preserved samples, tests could be run years later. Families finally found answers. Labs organized evidence with precision. Methods became more refined, detecting ever smaller quantities. Simple spot tests gave way to sophisticated instruments. The silent witness of poison now spoke clearly in court, solving sudden deaths and reducing impunity. Chemical truth reshaped justice. As chemistry exposed poisons, another field addressed firearms. Could a bullet be traced to a gun? Firing leaves unique scratches on bullets and cartridge cases, a mechanical fingerprint from rifling and firing pin. Microscopes matched marks with remarkable accuracy. Locard's exchange principle, every contact leaves a trace, became bedrock. A gun cannot fire without leaving its signature. Labs cataloged bullets and casings. Test-fired rounds were compared to crime evidence. Conclusive matches placed weapons at scenes. High-profile cases brought ballistics into public view. Calvin Goddard advanced the comparison microscope and standardized methods. Side-by-side viewing enabled confident conclusions trusted by courts. Decades-old bullets could be matched when guns resurfaced. Databases like NIBIN linked evidence across jurisdictions. Old guns to old crimes. Connections revealed. Killer signatures finally led to justice. Tiny scratches, enormous consequences. The increasing reliance on fingerprints, toxicology, and ballistics created a need for dedicated scientific spaces. In the early 1900s came the first public crime labs, Locard in Lyon, Vollmer in Los Angeles, and the FBI in the United States. They brought microscopes, chemical reagents, and comparison tools under one roof. Evidence flowed to a central hub for multifaceted analysis. Hair, fibers, paint, and glass spoke volumes under the microscope. Trace links suspects to victims and places. Impact, direction, and source identification emerged from tiny fragments. Chromatography separated complex mixtures, boosting drug and toxin analysis. Blood analysis narrowed suspect pools, before DNA. Quantitative results persuaded judges and juries. Scientists had to explain findings impartially in court. Standards ensured reliability, bridging crime scene to courtroom. Yeah. The single greatest revolution arrived in the 1980s with DNA fingerprinting. In 1984, Sir Alec Jeffreys found regions of DNA unique to each individual. Monumental, identity from the smallest samples, a drop of blood, a trace of saliva, a single skin cell, a hair root. Potential unlike anything before. In 1986, DNA solved 2 linked murders in Narborough. A confessor was proven innocent. Police launched the first DNA dragnet. A brag exposed Colin Pitchfork. His DNA matched both scenes. He was convicted, an innocent man freed. Old evidence, clothing, swabs, sealed items, could finally be tested. Decades-old mysteries were solved. Stains pointed directly to perpetrators. National databases like CODIS connected profiles. Searchable networks enabled rapid matches. Links across states and countries emerged. DNA secured convictions and freed the wrongfully convicted. Well, it's remarkable. As the 21st century dawned, a new type of evidence emerged. Smartphones, computers, GPS devices, security cameras, digital forensics was born. Devices held a trove of clues, deleted texts, emails, search histories, location data, reconstructing movements and intentions. A suspect's phone could be the most important witness. Location data and call timelines confirm or contradict alibis. Metadata added time and place. Even step counts mattered. Analysts preserved data and chain of custody. Digital evidence revived cold cases. Sometimes the key was a forgotten file. Old emails and posts resurfaced. Photos and logs were recovered. A deleted confession returned with a few keystrokes. Today, investigations converge disciplines. Digital forensics places suspects. DNA confirms identity. Ballistics links weapons. Each piece strengthens the others. From footprints to files, meticulous handling, integrity, and clarity remain essential. Yes. The journey from a simple smudge on a note to the complex data streams of the digital age is a story of progress. Each step, the uniqueness of a fingerprint, the chemical signature of a poison, the microscopic scratches on a bullet, the genetic code in a drop of blood, brought us closer to truth. Insight emerges from detail. Advancements solved active cases and reached back to offer answers long delayed. Cold cases became symbols of hope and innovation. This is a human story. Pioneers faced skepticism and refined methods. Countless hours on the smallest details. Families hold hope for years, waiting for the one clue that brings closure. Courts evolved to weigh scientific evidence, with experts explaining clearly and impartially. Forensics is not infallible. Methods can be flawed, labs can err, evidence can be misinterpreted or manipulated, so the field pushes standards, accreditation, and continuous training. The goal: accuracy and reliability. Courts must ask tough questions to ensure science serves truth. Tomorrow may include phenotype clues and AI pattern finding, but people will still gather evidence, ask the right questions, and piece together the story. The smudge, the hair, The digital trace, small, quiet details, can speak for those who cannot, bring truth to light, and ensure justice, no matter how long it waits.